All right, let's break down Google's latest AI model, which honestly is trying to solve one of the biggest headaches for anyone building an AI today. You know the drill, right? If you're a developer working with AI, you're always staring at this question: speed, cost, or quality. It always feels like you have to pick two because you can never have all three. I mean, it's a constant trade-off. On one side, you've got these fast, cheaper models. They're great for quick responses, but let's be honest, they're not the sharpest tools in the shed, and they're usually missing advanced features. Then, on the other side, you have these incredibly powerful, big brain models, but they're slow, and the cost to run them at scale, forget about it. This compromise has pretty much defined the limits of what's been possible for a while now. But what if that's not the case anymore? What if you really didn't have to choose? Well, that's exactly what Google set out to do. They looked at this trade-off and said, nope, we can do better. Their whole goal here was to completely change the math, to push what's possible in terms of intelligence per dollar. So let's dive into the solution they've come up with: the stable release of Gemini 2.5 Flash-Lite. And this isn't just another incremental update. It's designed to be a real turning point. So, what is it really? Think of it as the model that tries to be the best of both worlds. It's built from the ground up to give you that high-end performance without the high-end price tag, which makes it perfect for apps that need to be smart and super responsive for tons of users. Okay, so that's the promise. But how did they actually pull it off? Let's take a look under the hood and see what makes this model a potential game changer. First up, speed. It is ridiculously fast. Latency is just a fancy word for that delay before you get a response. And as you can see here, this new model has lower latency than both of the previous Flash models. That means quicker answers, which is crucial for a good user experience. Okay, next, let's talk cost, because this is the real eye-opener. It's priced at just 10 cents per 1 million input tokens. Now, to give you some perspective, a token is basically a piece of a word, and 1 million of them is roughly the length of a pretty long novel. The ability to process that much information so affordably is, well, it's a huge deal. And the savings aren't just for text. They also managed to slash the cost of processing audio by a massive 40% compared to the preview version. For anyone building, voice assistants or tools that analyze audio, this just made those projects a whole lot more practical. So you're probably thinking, okay, it's fast and cheap, so what's the catch? It must be dumber, right? Well, that's the really surprising part. No, the low cost and high speed don't come at the expense of quality. In fact, it's actually smarter across the board than its predecessors in everything from coding to reasoning. And it's better at multimodal understanding, which just means it gets images and audio, not just text. And if you really want to understand its power, check this out. It comes standard with a 1 million token context window. What does that mean? It means it can process and reason over the equivalent of a 1,500-page book or hours of video, all in one shot. The scale is just mind-boggling. And this isn't some stripped-down, budget version when it comes to features. You get the whole toolkit. Things like grounding with Google Search to make sure answers are up-to-date and fact-checked, and even the ability to execute code. So you're not sacrificing capability for speed. You're actually getting both. Now, that all sounds amazing in theory, doesn't it? But what does it actually look like out in the wild? Let's check out how some innovative companies are already using this thing to build some really cool stuff. Let's start with a company that sounds like it's straight out of science fiction. It's called Satlyt, and they're building a platform to process data directly from space. They're using Flash-Lite for things like real-time onboard diagnostics and figuring out communications between satellites. Tasks that absolutely have to be fast and super efficient. And the results they got are staggering. A 45% cut in latency and a 30% drop in power use. I mean, when you're in orbit, every single millisecond and every single watt of power is critical. Those are absolutely massive gains. Okay, let's come back down to Earth for a minute and look at HeyGen. They use AI to create super realistic video avatars and content at a massive scale. So they're using Flash-Lite to automate pretty much their entire video production pipeline. We're talking everything from planning and analyzing content all the way to translating it. And because the model is so darn efficient, it just unlocks a whole new level of scale for them. This lets them translate their video content into over 180 different languages. That means they can create truly global, personalized videos for their users, a scale that was pretty much unimaginable before. And for our last example, let's look at a tool called DocsHound. They found a brilliant way to automate one of the most tedious jobs on the planet, creating product documentation. What they do is feed Flash-Lite these long product demo videos, and it just zips through them, pulling out thousands of relevant screenshots and turning them into step-by-step training manuals, all automatically. It's an incredible time saver. So the main takeaway from all these examples is pretty clear. This isn't some far-off, in-the-future tech. It's here, it's stable, it's available, and it's ready for you to start building with right now. And getting started is actually super simple. You just specify the model name in your code, and you can jump right in and start building with it in places like Google AI Studio and Vertex AI. You know, when those old trade-offs between speed, cost, and quality just go away, it completely changes the game. It changes what's even possible. And that really just leaves one question left to answer. With these new capabilities in your hands, what idea that felt impossible yesterday are you going to build now?